Hi, beautiful. How are you? I have tried to probably make this video about 5 times. So we're going to see if the sixth try works. If not, we're probably going to give up for the night. But I feel like there's something here. And it's more so to recap today and just to talk about quantum leaps and identity shifts because this is something that I know a lot about just because I've experienced a lot of them. And I am personally going through a quantum leap and probably the biggest identity shift of my life right now. And it's funny because quantum leaps and identity shifts are asking you to step into this new version that asked, you know, to get whatever you manifested, right? You have to be able to hold and have the capacity for that manifestation to come in. You have to have the identity to match the person that holds the manifestation, right? And so I'm going through the biggest quantum leap of my life right now. Not shocking that it's in Leo season, right? This Leo season has been fiery. It has been different, but it's been so rewarding in such a different way than I would have thought. I have 5 Leo placements, guys. I got a lot of Leo. I got a lot of fire on my chart. And all of my Leo is being tested right now in the best way possible. And the thing I want to talk about really, because I mentioned in my last video or one of my last videos that I started going back to the chiropractor recently. And part of, you know, this week was finding out the findings and the, results of my assessment that we did last week. And sure enough, I am in a very sympathetic state, which for those of you that may or may not know, sympathetic is survival mode or fight or flight, which shocking. I knew that already. I've pretty much been in this state my entire life. I thought came out of it for a little bit after my divorce, but I think I may have slipped back into it and or never came out of it fully. And so what's interesting about all this is my entire body is off. And honestly, my entire body's off because I've been hyper vigilant and needing to, not even needing to, but my subconscious thinks that I need to brace for impact, that I need to brace for the uncertainty and not having a plan and all the things, right? And what's interesting is I have a very healthy masculine chiropractor. And I've noticed that when he asked me to lean into, certain adjustments and things like that, I struggle. And it's not just with him. It happened with someone else today. There was a healthy masculine in my life, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful that I have that mirror and that energy in my life. And my friend was helping me with something and asked me to relax my hand because we were measuring for a bowling ball. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But he told me to relax, and I couldn't relax my hand. And then he looked at me dead in the eye and he was like, relax, it's okay. And my hand finally went to jello, and I was like, wow. Catching myself in these little moments where it's not the biggest thing in the world, right? I'm not trying to protect myself from, you know, that kind of way, right? But it's ingrained so deeply that I realized I've never felt protected by a man. And that's something that I've so deeply desired for so long in my life. And this came out in several different ways. And it's so funny because I knew there was a reason why I was making this video tonight. I feel like I've talked about it on here, but back in 2017, I was married and had an affair. And the person who I cheated on my husband with, I felt safe in his presence, right? And, or what uh, safe was perceived to be at that time, right? And it's so interesting because I went towards that even though I was married, right? And it's such an interesting, I want to say dichotomy. I keep using this word recently. I gotta actually look up the name of that. I keep almost channeling it every time I go to say something. I'm like, that's dichotomy. Is that real? Is that a real thing? But yeah, and so there's not many men in my life that I've ever felt protected by or felt safe in their presence. And it's interesting because the same energy has been presenting itself in my field, more so for me to take a look at how I perceived safety with the chimes and the wind. Oh, thank you. Oh, it's so interesting. And on top of all this, I'm an eldest daughter. So that I feel like just adds another layer to it, right? A lot of us eldest daughters did not feel protected, did not feel safe, did not feel um, that we could be heard and accepted for who we are and express how we truly feel because we likely had males in our life that were not emotionally available or had the capacity to be able to hold us in that sense. And I've spent a lot of time working with this. And I am now at a point in my journey where I have been given the gift of healthy masculines in my everyday presence. And it's a really beautiful thing because not only have I cultivated it within myself, but it's being outwardly and externally mirrored to me, right? And it's so interesting how we perceive safety and where that stems from and how deep that can actually go into our subconscious and all the different things. And I've been given several opportunities recently to speak up for myself, to speak my truth, to express myself. And I've felt in these moments because I have not really had healthy masculines previously to, you know, practice this with, right? It's a gift to practice with. And it's so funny when you can just start seeing everything as a gift. You're like, oh, that's actually a gift. And like my body is tensing up right now, right? And how a lot of us don't feel safe to express ourselves. But it's been a huge thing that I've been working with. And as part of my chiropractic adjustment, we have been working with my throat chakra, we've been working with my heart, and so many other different things. And so it's not shocking that all of this is coming up, right? And I was presented an opportunity today where I should have spoken up about something and I didn't. And it caught me off guard. And then when I was reflecting on it later and talking with a close friend of mine about it, she's like, this is your opportunity to say something. This is your opportunity to break free from that limiting belief or perspective that you can't express yourself, that you're not safe to express yourself. Like, if a healthy masculine is in your presence, he should be able to handle it. And you got to trust that they'll be able to handle it in whatever capacity that needs to be. And also a reminder that their reaction is not your responsibility. And that doesn't just go for men, that goes for literally everyone in your life, right? And I have to also, I preach that medicine all the time, but I also have to remind myself that other people's reactions to what I say and how I express myself is not mine to carry. And as someone who is a people pleaser and a what is that, parentified child, if you will, or whatever you want to call it, there's all these fancy fucking terms, right? But really, here we are. It's the ability to be able to express yourself and not have to worry about other people's emotions and their reactions and how they're going to carry themselves. But if you're someone who lived in a household where there wasn't the capacity in the elders to do that, well, then you're likely having to teach yourself like I have. And it's a fun process. Honestly, it's been a whirlwind, honestly. But it's been great. It's been beautiful. And I have shed and healed so much. And I'm so grateful for these opportunities now that also the awareness, guys, the awareness is key. When you are stepping into a new identity or you're stepping into the next level, stepping into the version of you that can hold the things that you asked for, you're going to be offered opportunities. Some might call them tests. I like to call them opportunities to embody that version of you that you have been shedding and healing and wanting to move into. This is your opportunity. So take it. And that's what I've been given as I step through this portal, through this quantum leap, this identity shift. It is quite literally the biggest one of my life. I can feel it so deeply in my bones. And quantum leaps and identity shifts, we always we ask for things, we manifest things. But are we actually the person that can hold them? That's the key. Does your nervous system actually have the capacity? You might think you do, but then opportunities or situations come up, right? Like today, and I was like, oh, okay. I do have the capacity, just that old program started to take over for a minute. And I had to reflect on, oh, that old program actually is old and that doesn't need to take over anymore. But I also had to feel the feelings of not feeling safe to express. And there it is. I was like, I knew there was something else that was going to come of this. When you are going through a quantum leap and an identity shift, there's going to be grief. I hate to break it to you. There's going to be grief. Why? Grief, not only for, this version that's shedding to get to the next version, but for all the versions prior to you, prior to this current version, sitting here watching this video, for all those versions of you that didn't feel seen, that didn't feel heard, that felt like they always had to protect themselves because they didn't feel protected in the environment that they were in. And man, I have been, since I started Chiro last week, guys, I have moved through so much fucking grief. I thought I was silly little me. As someone who, I do psychopomp work, which is the process of, helping people cross over who are stuck in our, world to the light. And part of that is dealing with the death and dying and grieving, right? And I'm very well versed in grief through personal experience, mostly. And just when I thought I was done with grief, it hit again, and it's been hitting every day. And I realized how much stuff has been locked up in my body that is now being released. And yes, I have done so much work on myself. I have rewrote stories and all the things, right? And there's so much magic that happens in every single day. But the body keeps score. And my body has been holding on to so much, guys, so much. And so the grief isn't just for this now version of me, although I know I will never be this version of me talking to you right here ever again. That's wild, isn't it? I'm going to leave here. I'm going to be a different person just from making this video. I'm going to be a different person when I wake up tomorrow morning. Like, we're constantly evolving, and that's such a beautiful thing, right? It's what we came here for. And also, there's a lot of grief that comes with that. And it's not a bad thing, but it's meant to be felt. And it's meant to be honored and respected. And it's okay to cry and scream and punch the air and gutturally sob and laugh immediately after if you have to. That's what I did the other day. I was literally gutturally sobbing for at least a minute or two. And then immediately started laughing. And I was like, if someone was literally watching this, they would think she is having an exorcism and she is fucking crazy. That's my own perception, right? From my own perspective. And not judging or shaming myself. I was just like, wow, the duality that I can hold in this very moment is wild. To be able to hold absolute fucking grief and laughter in the same exact moment is fucking beautiful. And it's not something that's talked about enough. But going back to the quantum leap and the identity shift, when you are shifting, the universe is going to ask you, are you ready? And there's probably going to be some old energy that arises. And if you're aware, which you probably are if you're watching this video, you'll check it. You'll be aware of it. You'll check it. You'll notice that it's old energy and you'll let it move on by and you'll show up as the now version of you. No shame in the game if you don't. There's plenty of opportunities. That's how I like to see it. But it's going to ask you, are you ready? It's going to present you with opportunities. And you're probably going to maybe have the same reaction as I did, which is, I thought I was fucking done with this. I say that a lot. Like, I thought I was fucking done with this. And I laugh it off and keep moving on, right? Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. But the universe is going to ask you to step up. And it's going to present you with opportunities or gifts to show up as that new version of you that you've been saying you're becoming. This is the becoming. And how beautiful is it that we get to witness ourselves through these leaps and shifts? And how beautiful is it that for me personally, and I'm curious who else is moving through it right now, but we're moving through it during the Lionsgate portal, during Leo season. I got 5 different Leo placements, y'all. You know, it's not lost on me. And I'm super excited to see what comes from all this because I've broken through so much of this energy already. I'm curious if you have too. It's pretty cool when you start to level up and you can actually see how much you're leveling up. And yes, the physical's the external is going to do what it needs to do on its own time. And to not get hung up on that. Because that's also somewhere I found myself. You know, I've shed and healed so much. And I'm like, why is my physical not changing? It is. But it's not going to happen on our timeline. It's going to happen on the universe's timeline. And you got to learn to trust that. That's a huge one. That's a little negative advice. Word from the wise, if you will. Trust the universe's timing. It might not show up on your timing, and that's okay. That's an expectation. And that's something I've had to. Queen of detachment over here, y'all. Still learning. I've detached from so much in my life, and I'm still learning. And that's okay. I'm learning to let go. I'm learning to trust even deeper than I already do. And by God, I already fucking trust a lot. So that's really saying something. Like the number one thing my friends say is like, you literally trust more than anybody I know. I'm like, yeah, I know. Because I trust in the thing that I have seen up here, but not necessarily out here. And that is a practice. That has been a grueling practice. But I know here that it's going to pay off because it always has. It always has. And as I'm talking about this, I want to mention this story because it's come up several times today, and I was just reminded of it right before I got on here, actually. It's funny because I'm probably gonna have to take my own advice on this one. Get a piece of paper, and I'm gonna give you the same exercise that my nursing mentor gave me in 2019 when I was in a nursing mentorship at the time because I thought nursing was the problem. There was so much more than that. But nonetheless, I love this practice and I think it's really beneficial. So you're going to get out a piece of paper and you're going to write a story. You're going to write down the first thing that you remember in your life from all the way back when you were maybe a baby, maybe a 5-year-old, whatever your first memory is. And then you're going to write out your story of your life from then till now. And you are also going to add what you desire going forward. Okay. So for me, this looked like I remembered stuff from when I was a kid. I remembered, my high school boyfriend and all these different things, right? And you can be super, super detailed if you want. You don't have to be. It's totally up to you and what resonates with you. So I trust you have your intuition to move you through that. But I wrote this story and I wrote it from, child, you get the point, right? All the way up until 2019 and then what I wanted going forward. And what I wanted going forward was I wanted to be a nomad. I wanted to be a nomad and I wanted to live van life and I wanted to be free from my infusions and so many other things, right? But those were the key things. And I wish I don't have that piece of paper anymore. I wish I did, but it's up here and that's what matters. And it's wild to me because right before I started recording this, I was sitting in my bedroom and there's a little Snoopy figurine with a 2019 sash across it. It's a little graduation Snoopy. And I sent my friend a picture, and Snoopy just happened to be in the picture that I took. That wasn't on purpose, but nothing's ever a coincidence, right? And she goes, I'm curious what the year is on that Snoopy. And I went and looked and I was like, it's 2019. And I started chuckling to myself because 2019 was when I wrote the story. And I've known for a while that I'm coming to the end of this nomad life, this life that I've been living, right? And honestly, it's been beautiful. I have so many feels that I'll probably go into another video about that, but it's been beautiful and I've learned a lot. And I've now I've been gosh, I've been off my infusions since 2023. So what, 3.5 years now? Wild. And I didn't necessarily get to live van life, although I did, stay in a friend's van for a week or two, and I did car camp for, you know, a lot of car camping. Actually, the first, 4 or 5, 6 months of last year was car camping. And I got to do the things that I asked for, but you know what the underlying current of those things were? Freedom. Wind chimes going off for confirmation. I wanted to be free. Mm, I wanted to be free. And I thought that was going to include my then husband and our dog and all the other things. And I can't tell you how many things I have let go of in that amount of time. In 7 years, guys. I let go of my home that I had with my then husband and my dog, left my hometown, packed up my entire life, moved cross country by myself, got my own place. Like, I did all the things. And then I burnt all of that down. I burnt it down once, and then I burnt it down again. And I started this nomad life in February of 2023. And I finally feel like I got the thing that I wanted. Oh, look at that throat chakra. Ah. I got, there she goes again. I got the thing I asked for, guys. And it's still unfolding. But at the basis of it all, I got the thing. And what a graduation moment to have that in the middle of this Lionsgate portal that we're in right now. Like, what a fucking moment. And so I encourage you to do that practice, not for the sake purely of manifestation, but for you to actually recognize, to be able to see how beautiful your life is in whatever way, shape, or form that needs to come through. To be grateful for what you've been given, to be grateful for the experiences you've been given. And to know that the universe always has your back. Rejection is redirection. I can't tell you how many times I was rejected over and over and over again, but it was always redirection to get me to where I'm going, to become the version of me that can hold manifestations, that can do the things. And yes, it may have taken me years to live out the thing, but I look back and I'm like, that was from a whole different version of me. You know what the actual gift is? Who I became in the process of all of that. The woman who can say no now, who can speak up for herself. And I know that I talked about this at the beginning of this video, and this just feels so full circle. The woman who can express herself, who can hold herself, who can love herself. Because y'all, I'm a fucking badass. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've done some pretty badass shit. And I also get to be the soft, nurturing version of myself, not the jaded one that worked in the ER. Although I love her. She has a fierceness to her. But I no longer feel that jadedness for life. I'm excited to wake up in the morning. I'm excited to move through my day, no matter what that hands me. And that version of me, she was having a rough time with life. But I love that she kept putting one foot in front of the other. Because most people, honestly, not gonna lie, most people would have given up. Most people would have thrown in the towel. And I've been told that by many people. And I also believe that, truly, to my core. Because there's been many times where I wanted to give up. So, but I didn't. I kept putting one foot in front of the other because I trusted in the knowing and the vision that I was given. And even if it hasn't fully showed up right here in this now moment, which I can't wait to go back and watch this video later, I know that the things that are meant for me will never pass me by. And really, truly, when we're manifesting, it's not about the manifestation at all. It's about the person we're becoming along the way to the manifestation. And how cool is that we get to look back and see that? And so know that if you're in the middle of a quantum leap or you've manifested something really big and you just feel like your world is crumbling or the universe is giving you tests, it's giving you opportunities and gifts to show up as the version of you that has the thing that you asked for. And that can be really uncomfortable sometimes because that requires you to let go of all the old versions of you that cannot come forward. And it's okay to grieve and cry and punch a pillow if you need to, have some healthy sacred rage. But let those emotions move through you so that your body doesn't hold on to them, so that you can live a really beautiful, healthy life. And have a little gratitude for all those versions of you that got you to now. They survived so you could thrive. How fucking cool is that? I know I'm fucking grateful. That's for sure. So, with all that being said, I'm so excited to see what comes from all this. Oh, this energy feels juicy. Oh, thank y'all for being here. I'm so excited to go watch this video back in like 6 months. So good. I love y'all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, following me on social platforms, Lynn Shelto, if you feel called. I do still have my one-on-one books open for right now. So if you desire to have coffee together or you need intuitive guidance, you know where to find me. I hope you guys have a magical day.